Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. What is going on, Aztec Nation? Thank you for joining us on this. Well, not a victory anything, but thank you for joining us. This is the Sons of Montezuma podcast. I am your host. You can find me at Mateo San Diego.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
Twitter. And well, the
I'm
Aztecs. Out of control. The Aztecs lose 62-58 in Sin City. A very rare thing. We're not used to seeing that happen. So I'm a little discombobulated this evening. But the Aztecs, boy, last night. I'm glad I got my support here. Glad I got my support here. Okay, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Fiend, glad you showed up. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Why wouldn't I show up? Glad to be here. Talk some Aztec basketball, even though it wasn't a win. We still got a lot of basketball ahead of us, and so I'm very optimistic about this team and what we can do moving forward. There's a couple things we need to clean up, but it's not all. The sky is not falling.
Okay, all right. The sky is not falling. It's got to be Fiend's introduction. The sky is not falling. Mike, no sound effects for you today, man. You had the headset for a second. You threw it down on the ground. It's good to see you, though, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. What's up, guys? I heard it's raining down there. Hope you guys stay dry.
It is a little wet down here. It's a little wet. Not just the tears from us Aztecs fans last night. Okay, I get you, Fiend. We'll get into the game in just a second. The sky is not falling. I'm a little frustrated at that game last night, but it's okay. Guys, we want to thank you guys for joining in the chat. I see the numbers coming in. Everybody, this is gonna be a tough one, man. Anytime after a loss, people tell me, man, it's so tough to tune in after a loss, but hopefully we'll be able to dive into this game a little bit, dissect what we saw. I know I was watching it with a couple buddies, and man, the start of the game was pretty frustrating. Another slow start, but we'll get into it all because as we like to set up every episode, I want to thank you guys for supporting our NIL shop. Of course, you guys know we got NIL players on deck. Reese Waters, check out his gear, man. I'm happy to see that shipment came in for you, Fiend. The products have been jumping, especially from Mr. Waters. And, of course, the posters, all the good stuff. Mr. Michael Parrish, Mr. Jaden Ledee, of course, the one and only Mr. Lamont Butler. And, well, our new product, the socks, are flying out of the shop. The socks. Make sure you guys go check out the NIL socks. Matching with the kicks. Guys, 62-58. The Rebels, the Terribles, as I like to call them. Man, this was supposed to be our vacation home. Guys, but it wasn't meant to be. I was impressed by UNLV on multiple reasons. Talking with my buddies, I was hyping them up about young Deaton Thomas, and they didn't want to hear it. But he didn't have I think as crazy as a game as we've seen him have against other teams. Obviously our defense is something we pride ourselves on, but when it mattered, he came up with a big shot there at the end. And man, little too late. If I had to caption this game, a little too late. Fiend, dig into this game a little bit, because I know you told me about young Thomas at the beginning of the year. What did you see from UNLV that's different from what we're used to seeing?
I mean, he was, I would say point guard was the big question mark coming into the year, at least for me when evaluating UNLV. I knew they had some really good pieces coming back in Rodriguez. They brought in the Boom brothers, and they're they've got some real talent. And they also had another guy, Jalen Hill, that played in our game, and I think he's injured out for the year. So they're missing him. They're just loaded with talent. But the one thing that they're really missing was a floor general. And Deaton Thomas, I tell you what, man, he's among the best in the Mountain West. Now our guys, I think, did a really good job of hounding him and harassing him. And he had a lot of turnovers, and he didn't shoot a very good percentage, although he got to the line a lot and he got some points. And obviously, he made that big shot at the end, and that was a very difficult shot for Jay Powell to try to defend. And tip your hat to him, man. He played really well, and he made the plays when he needed to make them, and that's what I mean. A great point guard does. He played well above his years. Did not look like a freshman out there.
No, definitely not. I loved seeing Lamont have some success on the defensive side on him in the second half, picking his pocket and getting some loose balls and really spurring on the comeback in the second half. But Keelan Boone was somebody that was just knocking down threes, 4 of them, 4 big ones. We're gonna get into the positives on our side in a little bit, but this loss is a little jarring. Mike, what is there to say about Keelan Boone or just those big shots that UNLV seem to hit that, maybe we're not used to seeing when we play these guys?
Well, I mean, we've been talking about it all year. It's like, when is this UNLV team going to click? Because of talent, and as it seems like a different team than the other years, and they just clicked, man. I mean, whatever. We beat them 22 out of 25 times, so it's bound to happen eventually. So it's rough, man. It's just rough when you start 2 of 23 or 2 of 25 or whatever, and you're still in the ball game. It seems like every road loss that we have the same affliction. We start slow, but we have a chance to win the game at the end, or we're in it at the end. And it's anomalous to me, because we just don't make the shots at the end when we need them. But we're always in these games. It's strange to me. It's to play so horrifically bad. I don't know if we scored our first point until like 12 minutes in or whatever it was, and then we go on an 18 whatever run in the half to get within a few, and then I don't think either team scored except for like maybe 2 points in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half. So, I mean, UNLV's a good team, man. You know what I mean? Guard play in the tournaments is going to be paramount, and they got a great guard who's matured the whole year. I mean, that shot over Powell at the end was pretty special, man. I mean, he's going to be a very, very good player. He's already a good player, but he's going to be a problem for a lot of people for the next couple of years. So, I mean, hey, they played better than us. They beat us, and we just didn't. I don't know what happens to us on the road, man. I really don't. So but it's outside that New Mexico game, it's the same story every game. Start slow, work our way back, and then just kind of can't get over the hump at the end. I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I hate to keep pouring on and talking about Deedon because the game is not all about him, but just watching the young guy over the last few games. I think the last game that UNLV lost was against Nevada, right? I think it was that home game against Nevada. So they've won 9 out of their last 10 or so. Hottest team in the conference right now. They've been that wild card, like what you guys have been saying all season. And in that Nevada game, there was a moment where he had 2 free throws at the end of the game, missed them both, and they lost that game. That's how tightly contested that was. Nevada's on a tear right now as well. So for him to learn, I think, from that game, I really like what Sarah's saying in the chat. Really helped launch Thomas because he got better after that game last night. And he got better from that Nevada game. So it's just something I noticed right off the bat, watching him play over these last 10 games or so.
Well, I mean, he missed a couple at the end there last night too.
Mm-hmm.
So he missed. I think they've won 10 of 11. To be honest, I'll tell you what. Side note: that UNLV Nevada game on Saturday is going to be insane. I mean, that's going to be wild, dude. So we're going to an escape room, and I had Cody come with us so he doesn't get to watch the game. That's kind of how I did it. So, but yeah, I mean, he missed a couple at the end, but the Boone brothers are legit, man. I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma boys, which I love. I love Tulsa. They're good, man. They've gelled. They've kind of coalesced as a team, and they had that guy Harkins last year who was kind of did everything for them, was kind of the main focal point. But I feel like they're more of a team this year, and they're scary, man. They're scary to play.
All right, Fiend. Let's look a little internally now. Let's look at our own guys, right? Because this was an important game. The seeding for the tournament matters. It does matter, of course. Now with this loss, if some crazy things happen in the Mountain West, I mean, we could be playing on that Wednesday. Of course, none of us want to see that happen. But let's look internally in this game. Fiend, what stood out to you from our own guys? Obviously, Ladi didn't have a Ladi kind of night. I think we can base that off of the way UNLV play, but also some of the calls. Of course, I think this is the next to last game of the year, guys. I mean, we've seen a full season of how he's been officiated. What are your takeaways internally, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Mike said, kind of similar themes. We don't get the calls on the road. UNLV had 10 blocks. Were they really 10 blocks? Or were there some fouls mixed in there? Just Lady gets hacked. And then I think when he is not getting the calls, then he gets a little frustrated and starts to try to do a little too much. And at times it felt like it kind of reminded me of like 2019 Jalen McDaniels when he was the alpha dog on the team. And like there were some times where he was just, trying to carry the team himself and would put up some bad shots and he didn't shoot the ball well. Part of that I think was because of the reffing. Part of that was just, shot selection and he's just trying to do too much. But we had some other, good performances from a guy like Saunders. I mean, just fantastic catch and shoot threes. I mean, he was struggling earlier in the season and now he seems to be really coming back into form like he was at the beginning of the season. And that's how it is. Guys it's not going to be like just this straight linear line of, performance. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, you're going to have peaks, you're going to have valleys, and he's kind of a guy who's coming back up, and some of the other guys, are still struggling. Like, like Parrish and Waters. I mean, they're not hitting the shots that they used to. I know Trammell and Butler are kind of struggling too, shooting the ball. I mean, the percentage is just mind-boggling, though. We took 64 shots last night and made 18. That's 28.1%. That's a bad three-point shooting percentage, but from the field where you factor in like layups and short little bunnies, I mean, 28.1 is it's not going to get it done. You're not going to win games, even no matter how good your defense is, And the crazy thing is, we almost did, right? We almost pulled that out. I mean, so yeah, there's some stuff we got to fix. I think some of it's just being on the road, and we don't play on the road. But you know what? We don't have any more road games, so that's awesome.
That's been my reoccurring comeback to friends or coworkers asking me, and it's like, hey, well, we don't have any more road games, so that's a plus. That's a plus. Oh man, what you got, Mike?
We might have one.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm just being honest, man. Like, because it's not a neutral court now. If we play, whoever plays UNLV in Vegas is not going to be a neutral court. And the fact that they're playing well, that their fans are going to show up, as they should. So
our fans are going to show up too, though.
Yeah, I know. And like, I feel like two of the games that we've shot under 30% under Dutcher, I believe both of them have been against UNLV. And then the last time UNLV had led us at halftime was when they beat us in 2020. So
Man,
yeah,
hey man, they got us. They got us this year, and it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Some years you're not going to collect that rent, on the vacation home. That's just the way it is. They got to pass this year, But we'll be back. We'll collect it next year. We'll make sure they pay interest on that.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome to see Elijah, man. Just, hey, you're open, you got to shoot it, Fiend. You're open, you got an open look. You gotta let it fly, man. You gotta let it fly, and he was letting it fly, and you just see the confidence in rhythm, in motion, along with the offense. Like when he's taking those shots, it's feeling a lot more confident. I know. You don't have to shoot every three. I know.
No, I think he's to his credit. I think he's probably the most shot disciplined player on our team. I mean, he does not take bad shots. You won't see him take a dribble and then pull up 3-pointer, it's always a catch and shoot 3-pointer. Part of that is just, they're kind of sagging off him, so that's what's open.
Yeah.
But he just, it really reminds me a lot of like Jordan Shackle, Adam Seiko. Like those guys never took bad shots, and that's why they had high percentage.
Yeah.
And so if Saunders can continue to take take good shots and not take bad ones, I think his percentage will stay pretty high. It's just a matter of making them, right? Having the confidence to make them, and it's good to see that the ball is going through the hoop for him, and we're definitely going to need him, for this tournament run and into the NCAAs.
Yeah, definitely shot discipline. That's a great point. Great point. Okay, so like you said, guys, we're coming to the end of the year. I can't believe it. I mean, this year is just flying by. It feels like we've been waiting to get to this point. Now that we're here, wow, got here really quick. What is your guys' assessment on how we are doing right now, though? Because the record is good, right? Okay, it's a quad 2 loss, the first quad 2 loss of the year, which you hate to have that little blemish, right? But it's not terrible. So we haven't, fallen too far off track as far as the metrics and all that stuff go. But in terms of how are we looking towards the end of the year, do you guys take this loss as, okay, the team is a plus, a minus, or indifferent heading into the postseason? Or is basically Friday night against Boise going to tell you everything that you need to know on the direction this team is going? Mike, start with you, man.
I'm nervous, man. Like I said it last year. To win in the NCAA tournament, you got to put the ball in the bucket, man. And we're having a difficult time doing that. I don't know what the stats are for the conference. I read something we were like the worst shooting team in the conference. I don't know if that's true or not. Someone have to vet me on that. But if we don't put the ball in the bucket, man, we're going to have trouble. We're not going to start a game missing 23 or 25 and win an NCAA tournament game. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So I think they have to win. I mean, our best case scenario is if we win on Friday and UNLV beats Nevada, because that will bring them probably up to a quad 1. You know what I mean? Then we'll get a quad 1 against Boise. But I don't know what to make of this team, dude. I don't know what to make of this team at all. I think we started out great, 12-2, and then we're 10-5, 10-6 since. So to me, the trajectory is a little worrisome. We still have a good record of 22-8, but still, I'm a little nervous about this, man. I don't, unless something happens and we start hitting shots and players start playing well. I mean, Reese kind of disappeared last game, and Micah came out a little bit and played well, but this is. I'm not confident at all, man. Like I don't. As of right now, I would be shocked if we got to Saturday in the Mountain West tournament, the way we're playing basketball. And that's not a knock on them. We're just not shooting the ball well, dude. I mean, I guess it's a knock, whatever you want to call it, but I'm just being real, man. That you can't play that way and get through those games like that. I mean, this is going to be. I mean, I've been talking about the NCAA tournament yet, but like they need these next 1-2+ games, whatever we have. You know what I mean? They're gonna have to figure their shit out, dude. Because this is the time where you got to get going. The defense is there. We see the defense there. Dutch is pissed about something. I haven't seen Dutch this pissed multiple games. I don't think in many years, if any. I mean, he was pissed when he got that tee, and I'm pretty sure I saw him drop an F-bomb like "Don't effing touch me" to whoever it was touching him, and I don't see that very often. I don't see that kind of emotion out of him that often, at least that venomous. So I like that out of my coach. I think I've always loved him. It's great. Congratulations on the extension, because I love him. He's our guy. Yeah. But that to me, there's something there that is worrisome to me. And then you see that reaction, how he has, however you want to do it. I just don't know. I don't know what to expect from this team in the next couple games. They could beat anybody. They could lose to anybody. So I'm curious to see how they play.
Okay, all right, Fiend. Mike gave us a bit to chew on.
Yeah,
looking at last year's team though, it's not like we were I mean, they won the regular season, right? Won the tournament as well, the Mountain West tournament. But it's a completely different team. Completely different team.
Is it really different though? Look at the scenario. Look at the scenario. What happened last year against Boise on the road, second to last game of the conference regular season. We were actually up in that game and choked it away and
Yeah.
lost that game on the road. And then the Aztecs rattled off 9 in a row to get to the national championship game before finally losing. So I'm not really. I don't know. I don't share the same sentiments as Mike. I'm more optimistic about this team. Yes, we're not shooting well, but our defense is keeping us in games. And last year we didn't shoot well in the Mountain West Conference tournament, and our defense actually won us the championship. Same thing in the NCAAs. We didn't shoot. There were several games we didn't shoot very well, but our defense kept us in the game. And so I think that is going to be huge for us. It's tough to win conference games on the road. We know this. We're a much better team at home. I expect us to play better at home against Boise. And then I expect us to be there in Vegas playing, our best, hopefully, some of our best basketball on a neutral court, which, guys, we've already won a title this year, albeit it was in the preseason, but it was on a neutral court in Vegas, right? So I think people are just blowing this way out of proportion. It was a road game. It's going to be a different story. I don't think that the refs are going to be as biased against us on a neutral court. You know why? Because our fans are going to show up at the Thomas and Mack, and I invite all of Aztec Nation to really give it to the refs if they're not giving us the calls. Now, I'm not advocating any type of violence or anything like that. I don't want that to blow back on us, but let the refs have it if Jaden Ledee is not getting the calls that he should get. And so our fans are going to be there. It's going to be different, okay? And so that's why I'm optimistic about what's ahead of us. This Boise game at home, and then the vacation home, and hopefully we can get a title and get some momentum going into the NCAAs and get our swagger back and get our shot back, right? So we did it last year. We can do it again. We'll see if that happens. If we lose it against Boise at home, I will be a little nervous going into the Mountain West Conference tournament. I will tell you that right now. But I think we got a good shot, and we got good pieces that can win us this championship, Mountain West championship.
Wow, I feel like Pete and I have flipped. I feel like he's obviously hopeless optimistic, and he's not. I mean, by the way, if we win on Friday against Boise, I believe that's the first time we've gone undefeated at home in I don't know how many years. It's been a long time, if ever. So
we haven't.
Yeah,
we haven't.
We've never been undefeated at home, correct?
No.
Is that right?
Not
in
the
all
Mountain
through the whole
West.
season?
I don't think so.
Well, no, I'm talking the whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be 15-0. I'm not a big fan of comparing last year's team to this year. Totally different teams.
Yeah.
I understand it, but we only lost 2 on the road last year, right? And we've lost 8. And when you lose 8 games, I get it. That I said at the beginning of the year we're going to lose 9 or 10 games. I thought that was going to be the case. But when you continue to lose the games in the same exact fashion outside of that New Mexico game, that's problematic to me. That is fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 8 times, shame on you. You know what I mean? So there's
in particular the slow starts. I think in particular the slow starts. And
then they kick it in, and they just can't get over the hump at the end. It's the same.
This was also a bye. We always know this. We know, like, going into the Mountain West Conference tournament. I mean, that's why you always, bet the other team first half against the Aztecs first game, because we always come out slow. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, it's a long break between our last game and the tournament, right? We never come out well. The last bye that we had against Colorado State, how did we play? Right?
dude.
It was terrible. Same thing. And this time we get a bye. Same thing. So, I mean, let's not make too big a deal about this, man. I mean, I just think I have faith in this team. I have faith that we are going, our defense is really strong, and we're deep. We've got we've got a lot of pieces. We can win this thing. And maybe I should be more nervous, but I'm just not.
Yeah, I find myself kind of questioning, should I be a little more nervous? Is being nervous a good thing? Kind of put that pressure on and feel the weight of March coming down, that madness. And then sometimes, okay, well, in Dutch we trust, they'll figure it out, right? I love how Mike, they're gonna figure it out. But like what you're saying, it's the same manner. And have they figured it out? When will you figure it out? Till you get to that tipping point to where we're no longer talking about, oh, well, that was a good loss. It wasn't a bad loss. And you start trying to justify, well, it's tough to win on the road. Well, it's not a terrible loss. When do you get to that point? Yeah, and maybe you never get there until it's do or die, right? Where you just say, "This is the line. Can't cross this line. We got to change some things. We got to do some things different." I don't know.
Well, if you had tried to justify it last year against that horrible loss at Boise State, you'd have been dead wrong.
Yeah.
And that's probably why a lot of the pundits were picking against us every single round in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. It's like you try to justify it through the metrics, through the stats, the data, and then, the game. Well, me and Mike were talking about it earlier, and it's like, well, then the game just takes control. And the human element kicks in, and somebody gets hot. Somebody hits a clutch shot. They make a play. How did we ever see getting all these rebounds in the Final Four game? And that was something that they had done. But to do it in that way, to that degree, is you can't game plan for that type of stuff. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, how much we're running out of chances here to right that ship. You know what I mean? Like that was our chance, and obviously UNLV's hot, but I just I don't know, man. Like I'm always optimistic about this team, but like when I see the same thing over and over again, and you're just like, all right, man, what is going on here? The slow starts. Like usually, like the last few years, we've come out of buys pretty hot, except like Fiend said at the Mountain West tournament, the first half of the first game we tend to struggle each year for whatever reason. But this year they just came out and like, you're like, bro, you've had a week off. Are you rusty? It's like I feel like Darian was like, I just want to keep playing, man. I don't want to buy. Which is I love that out of him and stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm mystified by this team, and I always said this is not last year's team. They definitely would put in the middle, Seiko and all those guys and stuff like that. That was a battle hardened team, especially if that Creighton. They came back and did what they needed to do. But unless some guys step up in this tourney, dude, we ain't gonna go very deep. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
It's disappointing from the standpoint of we're not going to reach the goal of getting the regular season championship, right? That's disappointing because we were the favorites, at the beginning of the season to win it. We're not going to hang that banner, but we've got more opportunities ahead of us. And so I think we need to focus on that and getting a banner. And, I would love to be, again, like last year, on the floor of the Thomas and Mack on Saturday, cutting down the nets. I mean, it would just be awesome. So that's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah.
Gotta get that mojo back.
Well, yeah, if we win the Mount West, that'd be great. I mean, because you're not going to win the regular season now, so focus on getting the Mount West. But let's put things into perspective here. And we're not, the ACC or the SEC, but I don't believe UConn has won a regular season title since 2014 until this year, and North Carolina hadn't won it since like 18-19. So, obviously those conferences are a little different than us because we've kind of had the run of the chicken coop, you know what I mean, for a while. But when you win a conference title, it's pretty special, man. And we've had a very, very good run, and somebody else is going to win it this year, and that happens. You can't win every single year. So hopefully we can win the Mountain West tournament.
Well, we will be there in Vegas. I think the correct mindset for Friday, because the game is Friday, the last home game of the year. You just take it one game at a time, right? The next game, Mike, Boise. It's Boise State. The rivalry. It's gonna be a whiteout. I'm already getting ready with my Mensa shirt, man. I can't wait. I think I might wear my Adam Seiko shirt that we made for him last year. I'm gonna have to pull that one out of the closet. But really, just to focus in on that, this is going to be the last time that we see a couple players in Aztec uniforms. Of course, Jaden Ladiz playing his final game in Viejas Arena. Who else are we looking at? Darian Trammell is going to be playing his final game at Viejas Arena. And who else am I missing? Anybody else that still doesn't have eligibility left? Jay Powell, that was the other one. That was the other Jay Powell. 1 year only, but he's been just a fun watch, man. It's been great to see him this whole season from start to finish grow as a player. Such a fun player to watch. We love to give that Jay Powell chant over there with the e-host behind the backboard there. So I mean, look, we've talked about it all year. One game at a time and put things in perspective. Let's have a great time on Friday. Let's get that win and celebrate these guys the right way. Give them their honor and give them their flowers. Hope to see their family out there on the court with them. Senior night is always special, man. And it's not going to be for a Mountain West championship this year, unfortunately, but it's still going to be a very, very special environment. This could be the game. Get the swagger back. Play before your home crowd one last time. Got to do it. As they say in the chat, right? This is the time. High ceiling. As I believe Kevin says, high ceiling. Whew. Okay, guys. Really quick before we get into more comments in the chat, Mike mentioned it. I think it's a great thing. We locked up Coach Dutcher. Locked him up and put the key somewhere very far where nobody else can take it, which was very important because there's been a lot of rumbles, right? You've seen them. Michigan. I've seen somebody post about Michigan. They're gonna get rid of Juwan Howard. You better believe they're gonna come after Coach Dutch. I don't think he wants any part of Ann Arbor any time again. That's my personal feeling. So it was great to see him, Coach Dutcher, sign that extension, 5-year extension here in San Diego. Why would you want to leave San Diego? For Ann Arbor? Come on, get out of here.
Not going to Michigan. They got fired from Michigan. I mean, Fisher got fired from Michigan. There's no way Dutcher would go back there. No, not happening.
The things you see online, I tell you, the things you see online.
Well, it was interesting because I was reading the article about that today, and he's been here 25 years. Obviously, his girls went to state. They live here. He loves it here. He's 6. I don't know how old he is, 60 something. I don't know. But like at some point, it's not about money. He's got enough money. He doesn't have to worry about that. But it's not about money. And then I started thinking about that's his culture at state. It's not always about the money. It's about the brotherhood, the culture, the family, and obviously at the end of the day, the money is the money because you got to do what you got to do. But his personality is the program. So and it started with Fisher. So I'm glad he's staying. I think he's a hell of a coach, man. I love him. And so I'm glad he represents the university and all the coaching staff with him and stuff because they're great dudes too. But that was just interesting to read that about. He's like, he's the highest paid in the California state system, but he could get a ton more money if he goes to Michigan or Ohio State. But it's like, I'm at some point you're like, I'm 65 years old. My family's here. I got a granddaughter here. They have jobs here. So what am I going to move to Michigan or Ohio State? And my whole family's going to be back to San Diego.
He's making $2.5 million or whatever he's making. I mean, come on.
So he's, and it sounds like he's rolling to Costco in his Buick, just hanging out, in his sweats. It's like he's the everyman. So dude, I'll tell you what, man. Fisher was great. I love Fisher, but I feel like Dutch is like your father-in-law that you like. Do you know what I mean? So it's like he's just. I feel like the way he handles the kids and the way he interacts with them, and just his mentality. Is like, I'd love to get a sandwich with him. I wonder what kind of sandwich guy he is. I know he's a sandwich dude. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're hard on this team because we love this team. And that's just what you get when your head's above the crowd, you get tomatoes, man. That's just how it is. And so these kids play their ass off, and I'm bummed I'm not going to be there for senior night. Cause it's like I said, that's the first one I've missed since I moved up here, and I've gone to them ever since the arena opened. So, you know, I'm proud to have these guys represent our university and all the seniors, and I'm thankful we had the opportunity to play there, and they got a chance to play here and stuff, and hopefully they know how thankful we are to have them be a part of our lives and a part of our program.
I think it was Fiend's UNLV rebel friend, UNLV rebel
Oh
girl,
God, he's gonna
tweeted
love 'em.
us because Fiend's got friends. Everybody loves Fiend. All right,
He's got friends in low places, right?
yeah, make no mistake. Everybody loves Fiend. You know, we're used to it. We can get all the hate.
Almost everybody.
But Fiend,
Almost everybody.
Rebel Girl says, you know, it's that continuity, and that's something we always talked about in Vegas. They never had that continuity in their culture and their program. San Diego State has had that with Fisher and now with Dutcher. That continuity, you cannot downgrade that. You can't take that lightly. I mean, it's a family atmosphere. Everything Mike's saying, it's tremendous, and yeah, love it. Love it.
A lot of fan bases, a lot of other teams around the Mountain West are jealous at the Aztecs for the sustained success that we've had, really because of the foundation that's been laid in place, and that, you know, Fisher, Dutcher, I mean, we're the foundation. They laid it, and you know, we're reaping the benefits of that.
Indeed. Okay, guys, before we talk a little bit more about Boise and look at the matchup, and some other great news, this time on the ladies' team, of course. Adriana Quezada and Kim Villalobos are both returning for next season, their final year of eligibility. Saw that come across. Yeah, absolutely. That deserves absolutely a hand clap. Everybody should be excited about that. You know, they're going to be tremendous. There are tremendous players right now, but to have them coming back next season, that's a big move for the ladies team. They had an amazing comeback against Wyoming yesterday. I know Fiend put me onto that, and I was looking at highlights. I couldn't watch it a live time, but just an amazing comeback. And so, you know, it's
Villalobos
been a
was on
challenge.
fire too.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, she's got a nice game, man. And you know, it's been a challenge for them this season. It has been a challenge, up and downs at times, but they're playing some tough ball. UNLV in the Mountain West on the ladies' side is just a juggernaut. So we'll see what happens with that. But they played them tough last year. They almost took them in the tournament last year. So anything can happen in the tournament. But all the best to the ladies. Reached out to both of them this week, and just very thankful they were able to record that interview with us last month. That was awesome. We had a great time getting to know the ladies. So definitely excited about that. Yes. Okay, guys. Should we take this time to do another little plug for our NIL shop? Guys,
Yes.
you know, should we do that? I think so. So if you guys are joining the stream a little late, you might have not seen, but you know, obviously you want to support our NIL shop. All of our agreements with the guys, they get the lion's share of the profits on any item that you buy in the shop with their name, image, and likeness. So definitely want to encourage you to go over and do that. And of course, you know, if that's not your thing, I will tell you this: Mesa Foundation, they are doing tremendous work. Spoke with Jeff Smith, the president, this week as well, and just really appreciate that communication with those guys at Mesa. They have watch parties where you can donate money to, and proceeds go to there. So all the great work, really appreciate it. Okay, let's see, guys. When we look at Boise State, I like making these little graphics, little information graphics, because you know, you look at the Ken Palm, you look at how they size up, and there's always like a title fight, right? You get the two opponents sizing each other up in the weigh-in, and you compare their reach, you compare, you know, how many knockouts they have, how many TKOs, all that good stuff. Well, this is gonna be a very much a heavyweight battle on Friday. I don't like Boise. I don't like losing to them in football, basketball, anything. I don't know if I would necessarily say that they are our rival, as Mike says. I lean a little bit more towards Utah State because they've been a lot more successful and we've encountered them in the championship games. But I don't want to lose to these fools. Guys, when you look at how we match up, I mean, okay, they got the edge on us. They're above us in the standings. But Dagenhart, he's a player. Max Rice, he's a player. They got some other guys on that team. They can play some ball as well, man. Very efficient on the offensive side, right, Fiend? I think they are one of the most efficient offenses in the conference.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, they've got some good out 3-point shooters, obviously in Max Rice and Chibuzo Abo from St. Augustine. Great player for them. He's long, but he can get off. He hits threes at a good clip, and it's tough to guard guys like that who are 6'7" on the perimeter who can knock them down. Kind of similar to like Keelan Boone from UNLV. Then they got some guys in the middle. I mean, Omar Stanley is just a stud that transferred from St. John's, and he's really been playing well for them. And he's a low down low. They got Cam Martin as well. And then Roddy Anderson, he was a big surprise for me when we played them the last time, because I thought that of all their talent that they had on the team, Roddy Anderson was probably the most questionable, and he actually had a really good game against us at the point guard position. Who knows? Maybe we'll flip that being at home, and with the crowd behind, the Aztecs, Darian Trammell and Lamont Butler hopefully will, kind of speed him up and force him into making some bad decisions. It's definitely going to be a heavyweight fight. I like where we're at, though, being at home. I think we have a huge advantage there, and I think we're going to take down Boise.
Definitely take great shots. They definitely take great shots. Just looking at the last game, of course, in Boise, tough game, early morning game. Max Rice didn't do much. He's their wild card in my opinion. All the other guys they play safe ball, but he's just one of those guys that just chucks it from anywhere, and he could make it from anywhere. But
it's very high risk, high reward. Like when he's on, they're tough to beat, right? Like when he just went, I don't know how many points he had at New Mexico, but basically almost single-handedly like won that game for them. But there's been other games where he's just been really cold from the outside, and they don't play nearly as well. So we'll see. I like our defense on him. You put Butler guarding him, I like our chances.
I'm getting distracted right now because I'm watching the New Mexico game, right? And they're showing the Frontier restaurant where we went and got some green chilies against in New Mexico, Albuquerque. Thank you, Sarah, for that recommendation. Excellent spot. So if we beat Boise State, the Mountain West Championship is not in sights. But I mean, realistically, when you look at the bracket, if we can beat them, we're looking at probably like a 4 seed, right? Is that kind of the general consensus?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
You know what our you know what our reward if we were to win on Friday is? We get to play them again next Thursday. So like you know what I mean? So I mean Utah State won tonight. I don't know. I mean maybe New Mexico beats them, but Nevada and UNLV that's going to be interesting. But Boise is to me like 17-12 against them. That's the least disparity of wins losses versus anybody in our conference. We have a winning record against everybody in our conference. To me, that is a rivalry, and people don't agree. If he doesn't agree with it, and that's fine. I get it. I think we're 19-7 against Utah State since they joined the conference. We're 17-12 against Boise. To me, it's there's bigger games with Utah State in the championship, and I understand that, but it's not just one game here and there. You know what I mean? Like when you look at games like, remember when the Niners and the Cowboys in the early 90s with Steve Young and Troy Aikman, that was a rivalry because they didn't really play each other in the regular season. They would only play each other in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And whoever won that typically won the Super Bowl. So, we need to get a W at home, get back on track, have a couple days off, hopefully have a couple days good practice, get to Vegas, and let the chips fall where they may. Because, if we have to play them on Thursday too, which in all honesty is starting to look more and more like that. Back-to-back games. It's going to be a dogfight, man. Whoever wins, like you said, whoever wins this conference tournament is going to have 3 quad-1 wins for the most part, unless something crazy happens. But the other thing too, the Mountain West is going to have 7 teams with 20+ wins.
Jeez.
I don't believe that's ever happened. If he's got 19, they're going to get 20 at some point, whether it's against Nevada or first round of the Mountain West tournament, right? So, yeah, man, this is going to be interesting to see how we play against the boys. I'm hoping our boys come out and do well at home because they have. But you still, you like you said, you don't have the regular season tournament championship in front of you to win at home, which would have been nice. But you have another record of being the only team to win every single home game during a season at home. That's pretty special too. It's not as special as a conference championship, but that's a pretty cool moniker to have if you can't win the regular season title.
Plus, you want to send your seniors out with a win.
Yes.
Don't discount senior night. That's a huge motivator. Those players on the team do not want to let their seniors down.
Is that what you would say, Fiend? Is that what you would say to Larry Joe? I love this. He's I know they went into New Mexico and gave the Lobos their first conference loss of the season, so that hostile crowd didn't phase them. Then again, they were boat raced at Utah State, so it's about matchups. I love that. I love that comment. Thank you, Larry Joe. It's very good. But are you taking that senior night angle? Is that what's going to put us over the top?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, with New Mexico, I don't know. I had said that they were a number 1 seed at home, and I was dead wrong on that. I mean, obviously because they lost to Air Force, but at the time they were playing like they were a number 1 seed. But I don't know. I think we're just a better team at home. We're just a better team. It is tricky with our crowd. And like I said, we've won all our games at home. So why should I expect any different? Right. I'm hoping for a repeat of 2018 when Nevada came to our place. I think it was like the last game of the regular season or maybe second to last game. We smacked them at home. And then we went to the Mountain West tournament, Thomas and Mack in the semis, and we smacked them again. So that's what I want to do to Boise. I want to smack them twice.
Double smack. Like once with the front and the backhand, like in 1-2 swift motions.
Yeah,
back to back. Those are gonna be hard games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's gonna have to be if they do it.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
You're talking about pimp slapping Boise State? Is that what we're doing?
I'm not gonna go there.
That's. I think the backhand has to be a pimp slap, right? Is it backhand or forehand? Gene, do you know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You 100%. We'll talk offline. Yeah, but the senior night is special. I mean, look at the guy, the kid. I should have been kicked off a long time ago. But the guy from UNLV, man, the big guy, the guy from Chicago, he came out and had a great start to the night, 6-5 or 5-6, and he didn't really average that much. So, yeah, I mean, senior night's special, man. It's special.
It is.
Yep.
Man, is this New Mexico senior night? Is this what it is for them? I don't know.
Because they go to Utah State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted to have fun with all those scenarios. Like, man, if this person wins this, and we can still win the Mountain West League, but no, just gotta win. Just gotta win the next game.
Yeah,
This is March Madness. It doesn't always go your way. But it's crazy. A little bit of March Madness. March Madness, boy. A lot of people getting mad online these days, man. Bringing the madness to March. A lot of hype out there talking about Miss Caitlin. Is that her name, Caitlin? And Pistol Pete. Saw a little bit of a debate on there online. ESPN, I guess, has been comparing the two. I don't know if you guys have any opinions on that. I mean, we celebrate the women's game here at Sons of Montezuma. We take very much great pride in speaking about the girls, and of course Judy Porter this year getting her jersey retired. We said it. Judy Porter was the most dominant Aztec, and if you look at the stats, it's hard to refute it. I mean, her numbers blow everybody else out of the water. But it's a different game. It is a little bit of a different game, and you can't compare stats across the board, right? So I mean, the comparison it's a little tricky. I think you can appreciate both without necessarily comparing the two. But that March Madness, boy, some madness came already in this first week of March.
Yep,
Oof.
people are on edge about it.
Any thoughts on that, Mr. Michael?
About the girl from Iowa. I think
Yeah,
it's
man. I
great.
mean,
I
that's
mean, hey,
incredible.
it's interesting because everybody's like, well, we can't, I don't think you compare generations of players to each other, but the stats are the stats, as a wise man once said. Right, Pete? So the stats are the stats. Whether, it's like you can't compare LaDainian Tomlinson and Jim Brown. I never saw Jim Brown play, but I saw LT play. I still think that, to me, LT is the greatest running back I've ever seen. He was ridiculous. But then you can't, it's tough to compare. How do you compare like the girls, the Villalobos and stuff, to a Tammy Blackburn? They were different games too, maybe different positions and stuff. But she scored the most amount of points. I think it's awesome, dude, because it brings attention to the women's game.
Yeah.
Travis Scott was there at the game, and he dapped up the State Farm dude.
State Farm, yep.
Yeah, Jake State Farm, dude. So look at the attention it got.
But that's not. He's not the original Jake from State Farm.
No, it was the other guy.
Yeah.
Khakis. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He was wearing khakis though.
He was wearing. I know. Yeah, he was khakis. So I think it's great, man. Pistol Pete played an Arrow a long time ago with no threes, and it was a different game. But he had the most points. So if you look at the most points ever scored by a collegiate athlete, it's her. And so props to her, man. Like, you can't, that's not something you just come about. I mean, that's the only one in the history of the game that scored that many points. So men or women.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an interesting, I don't know, man. Like, it's I think it's great for the game, and it's great for discussions and stuff, and stats are the stats, but the score is the score. I still think Judy Porter is the best Aztec player of all time at San Diego State. So let's just not, let's enjoy it instead of minimize it.
Celebrate it.
Yeah, celebrate it. It's great.
Yeah.
When you start making it about the comparisons and stuff, you diminish the moment. Like, celebrate the moment.
Yeah,
celebrate the people.
People have gotten crazy about that, man. Like,
it doesn't diminish like Pistol Pete's, record or anything like that. I mean, what he did was mind blowing, in itself. I just think it's really cool too that all these celebrities are showing up for a women's basketball game, right? And they're selling out their arena, and so that's really cool to see that women's basketball, that interest and and they have stars, and stars are drawing people to watch them. And so I just think it's great for the entire game of basketball, regardless of whether it's women or men. And so it's awesome. I'm very happy for her.
Very cool. Very cool. Oh guys, how we feeling? We're getting close to that hour mark. Any other topics you guys feel about this game coming up on Friday?
I'm just excited to see how the guys come out and play, man. I really am, because they turn it on at home. You know what I mean? It's like, how many have they won in a row at home after a loss? It's been a lot, right? So
we haven't lost since New Mexico last year.
At home, right?
So, yeah, at home.
Yeah, but like we haven't lost at home after a road loss in 35, 36 games. You know what I mean? So we don't lose a lot on the road. We only lost 3 times last year, or 4 times. But I've been a little more critical of this team right now because I'm frustrated, man. Like, it's like I see this potential of this team. We have these great players, and just something isn't there. And I've always said chemistry is a huge thing on teams. We had a lot of chemistry last year. I'm not saying we don't have a lot of chemistry this year, but we also have guys who are trying to figure out their roles, where last year it was only really Micah and Darian that needed to come in and kind of figure out where they were playing. You know what I mean? And so there was some pressure off of them because you had Seika was there 6 years. Bradley was there a couple of years. Matt Nathan was there 6 years. And you have these guys that have been there that can be your barometer of truth, if you want to call it that. So it's just, the talent is there. We've never questioned the talent of these players. But it's just they at some point you got to get over the hump and get that W on the road. And and maybe it's a year that just doesn't happen. There's years like that. But I think a win at home going into the Mountain West Conference will be very helpful. And now a loss, I don't know. But, let's worry about that later,
Yeah, a win at
A
home
lot.
versus Boise State, people are going to forget all about the UNLV game and the loss there. And people are going to, probably pendulum swings the other way, right? Oh, we're going to win the national championship. We're going
We'll
to the
talk
Final
Sunday. I'll be
Four
pumped.
because
Yeah,
we
right.
beat Boise by 10 or what, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll pump the brakes on that, so it's like I said before, like you're never as bad as you seem on the road, and you're never as good as you seem at home, because it's the advantage, right, that you have
Mhm.
on home, and then at home, and then disadvantage of playing on the road, especially in this conference with, hey, let's give this conference credit. I mean, you said it yourself. 7 20-win teams, right?
Yeah.
Can we really expect to go into all these places with an unbalanced schedule, mind you, right? And we didn't play
Yeah.
two of the easiest teams in the Mountain West, right? And we wanted that because we were able to schedule teams like Gonzaga, in the non-conference, which boosts our resume, for the tournament. So let's give these teams some credit. I mean, they're tough places to win on the road. They're elevation teams too, right? We're at a disadvantage because we're at sea level. These elevation teams, it doesn't affect them when they got to go play another elevation team, right? But it does us because we're sea level. So, and that's not factored into the standings. That's not factored into the net or anything like that. So let's keep this in perspective. And like I said, if we lose at home, then I'm a little nervous. If we get bounced first round on a neutral court with our fans there, yeah, then I'm a little nervous too. But until that happens, I'm gonna stay, even keeled and optimistic about us moving forward.
Even keeled. Definitely not something I expected being to say. T-Mac, thank you so much for your super. We really appreciate it on this fine evening. A tough recording after a loss. We have high expectations, T-Mac says, as fans, but I am proud of this team. Look at that. Just an awesome post right there. Not even a question, just an awesome vote of confidence there from T-Mac. Thank you so much for the super. He has high expectations. We have high expectations after going to the Natty last year. How could you not have high expectations? This is not feeling like, right, a huge year. We've had our troubles, we've had our inconsistencies, but to know where we are at, regardless, still competing at a high level and still having that high ceiling, I think, in all of our minds, because we know what this team is made of. We just got to see them put it out there, and hopefully March will do it. I mean, I thought my ceiling for this team, let's run it back, right? Everybody run it back. Let's run it back. The potential for that is there. We knew there were going to be some obstacles, some challenges with this team. I don't think I've swayed too far from my mentality of what this team is. I just want to see it, man. We're here. We're on the doorstep of March. Guys, anything to add as far as what T Mac says, his bold proclamation of how proud he is of this team, maybe off the court, right?
I think you could be disappointed about this team if they were like a top 10, top 5 preseason ranked team that we knew like was, had a great shot of going to the Final Four, right? I think our ranking right now is about the same as it was to start the season, right? So we've met expectations, except for winning that regular season championship, which I've talked about with the unbalanced schedule and all of that, has factored into that some. So, I mean, yes, we should have high expectations, but I don't think like we've really fallen too short of our expectations based on, what this team was expected to do at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I'm coming from an angle. I think I'm very proud of this team off the court, being able to obviously create for the guys, several of the guys on the team. Being able to interact with them throughout the year, that's been a big source of my pride for this team. And of course, the families. I can't say enough. You guys get to watch and get to listen, but the work that we've been doing behind the scenes, just the support of these players and their families has been tremendous. Anytime you hear encouraging words or encouragement from the players or their families, it's a boost, man. It really is. It makes things just a little sweeter to cheer for these guys on the court, and absolutely super proud of this team. T-Mac, thank you. Safe travels. I see in the chat. Safe travels back to Colombia. All right, I see Flavor Guy in the chat. What's going on, Flavor Guy? What's going on? Proud of this team. Okay, all right. What's going on? We lost a lot. Absolutely, lost a lot from last year's team, and everybody has stepped up and played well all year. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, of course we're proud of this team. This is our team. If we didn't care, we wouldn't say anything about it, right? Like if you don't care about something, you just don't talk about it. So, but it's just wild to me that you could go undefeated at home and win at Gonzaga, and then do whatever you did in non-conference, and then just can't win on the road in conference. And yeah, it's a good conference, but Nevada won 6 times on the road. So even if you have one more win, you would have had. That's crazy how one game can affect all the schedules. You have one more win, you're in the discussion for winning the championship on Friday night. You just have one more win. You know what I mean? So, and how many games? I'm curious to see if all the games that we lost on the road outside of the New Mexico game, what the difference is points is. I bet you it's under 20 for those 8 losses or 7 losses, or however when they were on the road in the conference.
6.
But is it 6? So what's the difference in points if you take out the New Mexico game? It's like 4 against Nevada, 4 against this, 5 there, probably right around 20, right, for 6 games. So it just shows you how important each game is in conference. So
yeah, we lost at Boise by 1.
Yeah, so there you go. And then obviously the disparity in fouls, home versus away, doesn't matter what team you are, is apparent this year more than any other year. So it doesn't matter what team you are. You know what I mean?
Didn't Boise stripe out their arena too?
Probably.
Like, I mean, these teams are pulling out all the stuff. They had $2 beer night at Team Matt, Thomas and Mac, to try to get those fans out. They're doing everything they can to try to get the fans out to draw versus, the reigning national runner-up, reigning national finalists. So, I mean, we knew this wasn't going to be easy, this tour this year, but I think I'll tell you this, all these close games, although we pulled them out earlier on in the year, and we haven't been able to find a way to win on the road in these close games. I think that's going to make us better for this tournament run and into NCAA tournament, because if we're down in a game, we're not panicking, right? We're comfortable. That's where we've been. We know how to come back from that. So when we get down, I don't feel like it's just going to implode on us. I always feel like we're going to come back because I know we've done it before and we can do it again.
It's crazy. Like I'm talking stats. He's talking positive thoughts. It's like we flipped the beginning of the year to this year. But yeah, man, it'll. Hey, man, you know what? This is gonna be fun. I mean, to see my guys out in Vegas. Hopefully, see people out there. But
let us know in the comments if you're going to Vegas, because we got big plans for Vegas, man. We want to have some fun. We want to meet as many of you all as possible in Vegas. We'll be there every single game. Hopefully, we'll be live streaming after every single game. I know the Ehos will be out there, so we'll have a nice little Sons of Montezuma army out there, ready to take over the vacation home.
It's crazy because it doesn't matter who we play. Fiend's going to be interviewing the other team's fan because he's boys with all of them. Where's Fiend? Oh, he's over in the New Mexico section talking to Snake.
Oh, come
It's
on.
called networking, Mike.
I'll stay.
Network.
It's like but no, it'll be fun, man. It'll be good to hang out with you guys and just kick it and watch some games. But yeah, I mean, big game on Friday. We're guaranteed 3 more games. Is how I look at it at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're in the tourney. But we got 3 more games guaranteed to enjoy these guys and watch these guys play ball. And it's been a special year, yeah. Even though it's been tough, but with some of the loss on the road. But Jaden's been great, man. Like he's been awesome, and seeing the Miles and Elijah kind of blossom.
Growing.
Yeah, and I just think if you've seen different guys have different good games behind paired with Jaden, if you can get 3 or 4 guys hitting at one time, I mean that's a lot to ask. I know that, but that's what you need. I mean, look at Carmelo Anthony, look at Kemba Walker, look at some of these guys who just go crazy in the NCAA tournament, and just need one guy goes crazy. So they've typically more been guards, or small forwards, but you can get 20 and 10 from Jaden. I know it's a lot to ask, but we've kind of expected that from him, and get some of these guys to hit some threes here and there.
Yeah, if we had guys hitting like 40%,
Yeah.
if we had like 3 or 4 guys hitting 40%, we'd be, our metrics would be like Purdue, right? They got a dominant big guy, and then all their guards shoot over 40% from 3, right? And they're number 1 team in the country. We'd be a top 3 team if we had that. That's not, like I've said before, that's not kind of how we're built. We don't really have those shooters, but if they can raise their game, right? I mean, I'm not saying sustained like 40% over a 15-game period, but if you can, shoot over 40% for 3 games or 4 or 5 game stretch, like that's going to be a huge difference for this team in tournament season.
Yeah, that's all you need. Somebody get hot. That's all you need right now.
Yeah.
Somebody gets hot for 3 or 4 games. Carry your team.
What do you think is the difference with Purdue this year as opposed to last year? What do you think is the big difference? Is it basically they're knocking their shots outside?
Purdue shot threes like we did last year. I mean, they shot it, they shot it last year like we're shooting it this year. I think they were shooting like 31%, 32%. And now they realized, okay, we got this dominant big man who can, get us all the buckets we want, but we need guys to take pressure off of him. So we're, throwing the ball out to our guards, and let's get our guards to improve their 3-point shooting. And they just do a really good job of like swinging the ball, getting guys open and open. Like I said, with Elijah Saunders, getting those catch and shoot threes that are, really efficient shots and good looks. And that's what they're getting for Purdue. And they got like 4 guys. I think all 4 of their other starters besides Edey are shooting over 40%. And so, I mean, it's tough to beat. You can't guard that. You can't defend that. If the Aztecs had that, I mean, we would be unstoppable in this league.
Mike, if you had to put money down on another team, not San Diego State, to win the Natty this year, who are you putting your bet on? Because I already know. Who I put my money down. Last time I was in Vegas, I threw some money down on
I gotta be honest with you, man. I have no idea. I don't even know. I don't have time to like look at all of them with a 5-year-old. But like, if I had to just pick one, I'd probably pick Arizona.
That's a good pick. That's a pick.
I'd pick. I would pick UConn. I just think they're back to back. Like this year, they're just
deadly.
Solid. They're deadly. They're deadly on both ends, and they play defense like we do. Like the efficiency, they're able to just defend really at a really high level, but then they're able to run all of these plays and get guys to buy into this kind of complex sort of offensive system, and they hit threes, and yeah, they're just a fantastic team. That's who I would put my money on.
I hate to admit it. Hate to admit it. Both of those teams are the ones that immediately jump out to me. I don't know how the bracket's gonna work. I don't know how the regions are gonna play out. Unfortunately, losing that game last night did not help our case for being more, I think, local, right, closer to California. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
There's a chance you
Hopefully,
could get 3 quad 1 wins, in the tournament, in the Mountain West
Mhm.
tournament, being the 4th seed or 5th seed. You could get 3 quad 1 games, and if you win those, then I think along with a win against Boise State, I think that would put you on the 4 line. But I think right now it's more realistic, probably a 5, and probably the worst we would get is like a 6.
Okay. And
Because
just a reminder.
Boise
Go
would
ahead.
Boise would be a quad one game on Friday, as it stands
hmm
now. Yeah, so you could potentially get. Is it
It's
or
no, I don't think they would
close?
be. It'd
Oh,
be
really?
close, but you got to be like top 30. But when you play in a neutral site, it was top 50. So yes, that would be top
Okay,
50
interesting.
at the Mountain West Conference, and then likely 2 others that are top 50. So if you win the tournament, that's 3. That's good. That's a huge boost to the resume. So
Yeah, I mean that would be ideal to get 4 in a row.
Justin and DJ Dubs both pointing towards Houston as
yeah, Houston's
teams.
good too. They're really
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. Yeah,
But it's all
Tennessee
yeah.
looks
matchups,
good too.
man. You get the wrong matchup, so that's kind of what happened to Purdue last year. Then in the when they lost in the first round, right? They didn't hit any three. They lost in the first round last year, right? Didn't they?
Yep.
I believe
Purdue.
so.
Farley
Yeah.
So
Dickinson as a 16. Yeah.
yeah, that bit them in the butt where the guys didn't shoot well, and that just shows you could be the number one team. You know what I mean, and still lose in the first round.
CBB Analytics has this, like, it's called a trapezoid of excellence, and it's like it graphs teams based on like their style of play, like their ability to play like fast, or do they play too fast, or do they play too slow? And then there's like teams that are like in the middle that can like play both games, and it's really important when you get into March that you're able to play against different styles, whether it's a fast pace or a slow pace, because if you have any weaknesses, then those matchups are not advantageous for you, and you're likely to get sent home. So that's what they call it, the trapezoid of excellence. It's something you can check out on CBB Analytics, and those are the teams that they're kind of favored to make deep runs in the tournament.
I am really excited. I want to remind everybody next week, as soon as the Mountain West tournament is through, we are going to be sitting down with a couple San Diego State professors. These are professors, and they're going to give us some insight on the bracket, how the seeds play out, what are the trends, what does the data say. I'm curious. I want to hear what they have to say because it's a different angle. I'm terrible at math, to be honest with you. So I'm like really curious to hear what they're gonna bring to the table. What information? I'm sure Fiend's excited about that one.
I don't know, man. Mike's kind of getting turned on by these metrics, so I think it might pique his interest too.
Can't wait. So excited. Hey, so Boise State is 27 in net, so Friday could potentially be a quad one, which would be
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
sweet.
Kempom, they're 41. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, then all right,
yeah, and that would be great. So if
that's
you were to
awesome.
get four, yeah, I mean, let's just worry about that. That would be great to get another
Yeah,
quad one win at
let's get it.
home,
Let's get one.
go undefeated at home.
Yeah.
And then are we going to do brackets with the professors?
Oh, we should. We should. We usually do
Not for
have our
money, not for
bracket
money, just for
challenge.
fun. Yeah, just for
Well,
fun. I want to see like how they do. I'm curious to see how they do.
Put a little friendly wager down. I mean, come on, Mike.
Yeah.
Scared money don't make no money, man.
hmm
Right.
We
No,
we
that'd be
do
interesting to hear.
always have our bracket challenge too, so that's another reminder for all you Aztec Nation Sons of Montezuma watchers. We do have a bracket challenge. The winner, we usually award them with some free merch of their choice of some sort. So we'll have to figure that one out. Andy usually runs that, man. He does a great job on that. Helps us out. Love those bracket challenges.
Yes. Big game Friday.
All right, big game Friday. I like the sound of that. Wish you were here, Mike, but we'll take plenty of videos and send them back to you, and we'll be in Vegas soon enough. Can't get here.
Can't wait.
Can't
Can't
get
wait.
much sooner. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap it up because we went a little overtime this evening. So we appreciate all you guys for joining the live stream and contributing with your comments, questions, all that good stuff. Guys, we feeling okay? We're feeling okay? We're ready?
Yeah. Let's roll, man.
It's March Madness. It's March Madness. People are driving, flying, taking trains, riding on the back of a donkey to get to Thomas and Mack Center.
That's what we're gonna do on Friday night. We're gonna go donkey hunting, man. Donkey hunting on Friday night in the arena in Viejas on the Mesa. Yeah, have fun Friday night, guys. I'm bummed I can't make it to senior night, and if anybody's lost from listening, I don't know, whatever. Players, coaches, parents, we're thankful that your son's and has come to San Diego State, and we appreciate all they put for the program. And hey, man, Aztec for life.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Fiend, on behalf of SD Sports Fiend, Mr. Mike Tortolot, Mateo San Diego, signing off. But before I sign off, with March Madness comes a lot of intense emotions, feelings, pressures, all that good stuff. For all you loyal Sons of Montezuma watchers out there, if there ever comes a time where you want to reach out and connect with us on a personal level, our DMs stay open. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We've very proud to build this community for several years now, and we are thankful for your support. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So if there's ever any issues that arise in March Madness or anytime, our line stays open. Reach out. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. See you on the flip side. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs. Beat Boise.
Yes, sir.